So I kind of want to start this episode off a little bit different. I don't really have a script for it. I kind of was just thinking about it as I was setting everything up. Um, so bear with me, and then we'll get for a few minutes, and then we'll get to the week 6 recap in place of the playoffs. Ignore my dog chewing on the bone in the background as well. um, but no, I I do love this league. Um, and I'll kind of start there. Like I said, I don't really have a script for this. It's just kind of coming from the heart. But if any of you guys have anything going on in your life or anybody you know, I know everybody in this league is willing to lend a helping hand when needed or just be there to talk. Um, so I know a lot of us are playing this game for a bunch of different reasons, just for fun, to stay out of trouble, to do whatever. Um, but this community has been amazing ever since I've been in here, and it's one of the best things that I've seen in a while. And I'm blessed to say that I'm a part of it. So I truly mean it. If any of you guys are struggling with anything in your life, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always here and I'm always willing to listen, even if it's just on a car ride home. But I kind of just wanted to take a second. Like I said, don't want to take too much time. Just taking a second to share kind of my path here quickly, and just saying kind of what my favorite verse is and why I'm even sharing it in the first place. And maybe some of you guys can relate and go from there. But my favorite verse, since this is, yes, it is a football league, but one of the major things is we are also brothers in Christ in this. And I really love that about this is those Bible studies at the end of the game. So, excuse me. So, my favorite verse here is coming from the book of Matthew, 6:21. A little background on this: my birthday is June 21st. So, my name is Matthew. It comes from the book of Matthew in the Bible. So one day I was curious, what is Matthew 6:21? And it's actually become my favorite verse. I know a lot of them people interpret differently. And the Bible is open to interpretation, in my belief. So the verse is, for where your treasure is, there your heart will also be. I've really loved this verse, and it's kind of stuck with me a lot. I don't think when they say treasure, it's meaning physical treasure. I truly think it's kind of saying, like, in a sense, like, follow your heart and put 100% into where you want to be or what you want to accomplish in life. Whatever goals you have, put 100%, like, put all the chips in, basically. As well as, like, kind of treasure and cherish where your heart is in your life. So the most important thing in my life is my family. And I know I tease that it's football, and that I couldn't live without it. But I mean, being I'm not even really sure how to put it into words, but basically, like, honestly, being married is the best thing that's ever happened to me. So having my little family that I have with my wife and 2 dogs, and eventually kids in the future, that's kind of where I've put all my chips in. It's what I care most about in my life. And I know a lot of you can relate to that, or you know exactly what I'm talking about, just maybe a different area. But I kind of wanted to share that just with everybody, just to kind of get everybody thinking. Like I said, I didn't want to spend too much time on it. But if anybody's ever struggling through anything or just wants to talk, feel free to reach out to me. Anywhere, I will be available to talk 24/7. So without further ado, let's get into the recap. Good morning flag football. My dog is looking at me weird in the background, but you won't be able to see it. I tried to do the Good Morning Vietnam. I'm sure that will sound terrible when we come out to edit because I hate listening to myself anyway. But we have the Week 6 recap. It is the end of the regular season for the Legacy Flag Football League. I am very excited. I am your host, Matt Jarzab, and I'm joined by me, myself, and I, and my dog, Kevin. He is the golden retriever right behind me, so if you hear chewing in the background, it is him. My Ellie Belly might be in here as well. She's a black lab, so we'll see what happens. She's like the kind of like the teenager. She doesn't like to be around you too much, only when she wants to be. But no, we're diving straight into this. It was a great season. I mean, those games, I know I wasn't able to be there, but I've gotten a million different recaps from people. So hopefully I can do it justice to kind of explain actually what happened and my thoughts going forward. But saying that, obviously I am by myself this time. If you would like to be on this podcast, even for just a little bit, there will be some options towards the end to where we can do a quick interview. I know I'm saying a lot, just trying to think. But a quick interview, or if you would like to kind of co-host with me, please feel free to reach out, and we can set up a time. Usually I record on Mondays or Tuesdays, and it's out by Tuesday morning or Wednesday morning. So just get with me on that if you would love it. I am trying to think of stuff for the playoffs, kind of that would be fun for people. So yeah, without further ado, let's move into the scores, starting with our game of the week. In that 2:30 slot, the Ravens hosting the Patriots was a great game. Patriots were actually favored by 2 points, but it ended up the other way. Ravens outscoring them 42-40. Again, kind of just going off what I've heard. It literally came down to the last second. I'm pretty sure the Patriots had an interception run back to the 5-yard line, had an opportunity to score, but the Ravens came up with a stop. So I'm excited to see if we can get this matchup again. I knew it would be one of the biggest games that we had this year. I mean, it was for that first round bye, for that second or potential first seed. We now know it was for the second seed. So the loser does have to play that next game, that other game. So the Patriots do drop down to that third seed, having to play an extra game to get to the championship, which will affect them a little bit. But moving on to that 3:30 slot, Texans hosting the Chargers. Again, back and forth game. Heard a little bit about it. Heard there was a bunch of fight from both teams. So it was an exciting kind of week 6 in general. I mean, Chargers, I believe, were 14-point favorites, 13-point favorites, so well over 2 touchdowns. Texans, I know we're struggling offensively, a little bit defensively, so kind of pulled it all together against that number 1 ranked team and competed. And that's all you can ask for. I mean, you lose by 3 points or games within 3 points, you got one possession that changes everything. So that's what I'm excited for when we get to these playoffs, because I've been on each team that I've been on. It's not been the greatest team. We've been middle of the road or less than, but we've always competed when we get to playoff time, because everybody just wants to win. Doesn't matter what your record was in the beginning. Doesn't matter what you are now. We're all in the playoffs, and it's single elimination. So it's going to be fun. I'm really excited for it. But moving into that last slot, the Oilers and Chiefs fighting for that 5 seed. Chiefs are coming on top, 76-59. I know the Chiefs did run that 2-quarterback system with Dawson and Will, which worked out pretty well for them. But that is actually the highest scoring game, as well as one of the Oilers' highest scores of the season, which I'm excited to see what they can do. Like I said, record doesn't matter when it comes to playoffs. We're all playing. I mean, Oilers are taking team. I mean, they took us to the – I mean, when we played them twice, they took us down to those last few minutes. I mean, it is what it is. They got good people on their team. The Chiefs have good people. Chargers, Texans, everybody has good people. But it's who will show up, and it's going to be who will show up and who will set the tone of the game. I mean, there are so many things that can happen when we get to these playoffs. It's just insane. The amount of plays, and I know these veteran players can attest to it as well. The amount of plays that will come out of these final few games are going to be amazing. And I don't think the favorites will win. The favorites never do. But I just want to move straight into standings. We're going to have a couple different segments for you here today. Again, it was kind of rough for me not being there. I apologize. I did have some military duties that I had to attend to. But proud of my team. Wouldn't have them any other way. But I want to move into the standings. As I said, not much movement happening here. Chiefs retaining that 5 spot from the Oilers. The Ravens and Patriots switching sides. So the Chargers and the Ravens are holding the 1 and 2 spot respectively. The only thing separating them is the points for category with that Chargers with that number 1 offense. But Ravens not far behind. But that Patriots a scary 3-seed team. However, as I said, Oilers and Chiefs, both teams not to be taken lightly. So you're going to have the Patriots hosting the Oilers and the Texans hosting the Chiefs. But we will get to that playoff bracket later on. But that is your 1 through 6 seed talking final standings for the regular season. Moving to offensive standings, I had to shout out my guy Garrett here. You know, in this slide, I've played with him my past 2 seasons. I thought we had a great chemistry when we played. Dude, he's just fast out of the backfield. I had to give him a shout out. I talk to him every game. Dude is just amazing. He's an athlete. So Chargers, not much movement here. I will say I am sad to say our Texans dropping to that 6th spot, but top 3, Chargers, Patriots, and Ravens, all retaining that 1, 2, 3 in a tight knit race. Chiefs and Oilers moving up 1 spot respectively, and the Texans, as I said, dropping to that 6th seed. But not many points are separating everybody. Yes, I know from 1 to 6 is about 100, but again, playoffs, anything can happen. Especially when we move to defensive standings. I had to shout out my boy Ashton here. And I'm just saying, we played him week 5. And, again, I wasn't there week 6. I can't speak on that one. But week 5, this man had 2 2-point returns for extra points, I guess. So for an extra 2 points. So my man dead sprinted 100 yards. Not 100 yards. A full length of the flag field. Twice, as well as the amount of catches that he had, that I'm just like, there's no chance I'm catching him. So I gave him that defensive shout out here, and I'm really excited to see what he can do in the playoffs as well. But I hope I don't face him, so hopefully I'm watching and cheering him on from the sidelines. But no movement at all, actually, when it comes to defensive standings. Ravens still holding that top spot, holding teams to 12 and 18 points in 2 weeks. Patriots with a close second, and then Chargers, Texans, Chiefs, and Oilers all respectively. But as I said, not too many points separating here. So there are 1 million points scored every game. I don't know what the average is, but I know the average for every team. But I mean, you got a shot. Defense, if you can stop them 3 times, we've always talked about you can stop them. You can win that game if you stop them 3 times and you just continue to score. But I'm just excited for this play. I love playoff football. Oh, I love it. All right. We're just going to go through every team's road to the championship. So we'll go a little bit different. I got all their stats on one slide here. So looking at their past 6 weeks, as well as what they need to do to get to that championship game. Not to the championship game. Well, to the championship game, but also what they need to do to start hoisting that trophy. That beautiful legacy flag football Lombardi trophy thing. We'll go with it. All right, so starting out with the Chargers, obviously getting wins in all the weeks 1 through 4, taking that hard loss to the Patriots, but rallying and beating the Texans, finishing it with a 5-1 record. They do secure that number 1 seed and have a first-round bye, so they will have that chance to scrimmage the Ravens this upcoming week if they so choose, which I think would be a great idea, but that will not have any effect on their standings or game or anything of that nature. It's a great time to kind of test and see what works. or stuff you might have always wanted to try but haven't. So, starting out with a bye, and the road to the championship will be their most likely opponent. So whatever it is for that next round, mathematically speaking, don't get mad at me. It is mathin'. So, road to the championship for the Chargers, obviously having that bye week, the first week. Most likely to play the Texans, coming out with a 54% chance to win. But having to mathematically probably play the Patriots that next week in the championship, where they actually would not be favored, and according to points scored and points against. So, none of these roads are easy. Even the two bye teams, they still got some work to put in. Yes, they have that one less game that kind of puts them ahead, but no game is given here. Finishing that season with the offensive first. Let me rephrase that. With the best offense, scoring 300. I can't talk today. Whoo! Scoring 343 points. There it is. And then finishing with that third best defense at 280 points. But moving on to the Chiefs. Sadly taking losses in their first 5 starts. But that overtime game to the Ravens. Oh, there's a lot of matchups I wish I could see in the playoffs. So I hope we get to them. But getting that first win in that final week against the Oilers, 76-59, finishing 1-5 on the year, but not a team to be taken lightly. Their road to the championship will lead them through Houston to play the Texans, then going to Los Angeles to play the Chargers, and then finishing up against the Patriots over in New England. So seeing if they can, keep that 2-quarterback system. I'm hoping we can stop it this week. I am the defensive coordinator, and I am on the hot seat. So, Will, watch out. Dawson, even if you win, I hope to get that signed ball still. So, again, not a easy road whatsoever. Not favored in any of the games, mathematically speaking, but they have figured things out. So, excited to see what they do in this first game versus the Texans. Myself, will be there, obviously. But hoping they drop to the Texans and we don't have to worry about anything else. Finishing with the fourth best offense with 276 points and the fifth best defense, allowing 335 points. But as I said, don't sleep on this team. I mean, scoring 76 points in a game is not easy. There's only been a handful of weeks that have done it, over 75 this year. So we're going to see what happens. But moving on to the Oilers, obviously, sadly dropping to 0-6, but scoring 59 against the Chiefs. They've gone up. Obviously started out kind of hot in points against the Texans on week 1 with 58 points. And dropping a little bit, even scoring 48 on the Chargers. So this is, again, another team I would not take lightly. They got some dudes on them. They can make some plays, and they can get around you. So I'm excited to see what they can do. I mean, shoot. Why not them? Why not? They're in the playoffs. Why not? Why not win the championship? But that championship will have to go through a very tough road. I mean, teams combining only for 4 losses, but that'd be the Patriots, most likely, then the Chargers, and then the Ravens. Got to play all 4 of those top teams. Again, they're probably not favored in any of them. However, you're saying you got a chance. That's all you need. That's all you need is a chance. So, excited to see what they do. Not a team I would want to face either. But ending with the 5th best offense with 255 points, and then the 6th best defense with 396 points, respectively. So, again, excited to see what they can do in this game headed up against the Patriots. So, rolling right into the Patriots. Obviously taking that week 1 loss to the Ravens, but also finishing with a week 6 loss to the Ravens. So, there's a saying we have on every staff that I've been in and every team I've been a part of. Even talking about NFL, college, whatever. it is very hard to win a football game. A lot of things have to go right for you. You're never going to have a perfect game, but you got to pray there will be some luck involved. So, it is hard to beat a team once. It is really hard to beat a team twice. And it is dang near impossible to beat a team 3 times in a season. So, Patriots, I'd want to play the Ravens again. It's been close both games. You almost had it that week 6. But that road to the championship, I got a feeling you might see him again. Obviously, starting out with the Oilers, what you're favored in. But that second round, playing against the Ravens, you are technically favored, mathematically speaking, in points for, points against. Isaac, I'm sorry, math does not lie. So, obviously, I know the Ravens are kind of leading the series 2-0, but I'm all for this trilogy. I'm all for it. I'm excited to see it. If it ever happens, if it were to happen, there's a lot of matchups I know I'm going to say I'm excited for. I'm just love playoff football. All right, here we go. But possibly finishing off with the Chargers. That's the key. They got to play 3 games if they want to get to the championship. So that first round bye was huge. However, evened out at the second best offense and defense, scoring 327 points and allowing 238 points on the season. Very well-rounded team, and we're excited to see what they can do, finishing with that 4-2 record, and we'll see where we can go. Moving on to the Ravens. Obviously, finishing 5-1, an excellent team. I would definitely say it's in that best team conversation. That loss to the Chargers in week 2, 60-36 is the only thing. I know they were missing some players. However, beating the Patriots in week 6 and in week 1 gives you some confidence on the flip side. So, obviously getting that bye week, getting them players rested, able to see what the Patriots are able to throw at the Oilers this week, and kind of playing from there, or vice versa. If they got to play the Oilers, so be it. If they got to play the Texans, it doesn't matter. This team is very good. I think they can run with anybody, and I think they got a shot to win it all. But they got that bye week in the first, in that wild card playoff spot, and then potentially their road to the championship running through New England potentially, and then through the Chargers. So, I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be great. I'm so excited for it. Finishing 5-1, third best offense in the league, as well as the first best defense in the league. I believe holding the only 2 times that opponents have been held under 20 points. So that Ravens defense channeling their inner Ed Reed and Ray Lewis. I'm excited. Here we go. All right. Going on to the Texans. My Texans. You know, I'm feeling a little C.J. Stroud in me, okay? I'm feeling it a little bit. I got to channel the inner C.J. Stroud here. Yes, I know, 3-3. That's middle of the road. A lot of teams would consider that a good season, but road to the championship goes through the Chiefs, Chargers, Patriots, most likely. So you're saying there's a chance. There's a chance. There's a chance. I'm just saying, I would really love, my plan. I'm gonna spill a secret. My plan for the championship game is, set up a little table, do a little kind of live good morning flag football. It can be good afternoon, but you know what I mean. However, my plans would be ruined if the Texans go to the championship. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Don't sleep on them. I know we got dropped to the 6th best offense in the league, aka last. But following up with that 4th best defense in the league, obviously one of the major blemishes is that week 3 loss to the Ravens, 72-12. Bouncing back though, scoring more and more points as the weeks go on, and then just competing. So very excited to see how this all ends up. 3-3, middle of the road. But can they get over that hump when it comes playoff time? So they have a great test against the Chiefs this week. As I said, running that 2 quarterback system, as well as just the Chiefs got some weapons. As I said, I'm here for it, but I'm really excited for it. Rolling right into what the playoff bracket looks like. Okay. First of all, I'm proud of this edit. So if you're actually watching this, just take a second and admire. We'll just sit here for a couple seconds. Ready? Go. Isn't it beautiful? Anyway, so kind of how the little explanation of how this bracket works. Obviously, in the NFL, you got the wild card round. You do have the two bye week teams. But for the NFL, it is the lowest remaining seed will then play the number one seed. Kind of the same thing here, except the two winners, so say the Chiefs and Oilers win this week against the Patriots and Texans. The Chargers will pick either the Chiefs or Oilers to play, and then the remaining team, the Ravens, will play. So that's the benefit of that number one seed being able to pick who you play in that second round. Definitely some options for the Chargers, obviously. They are dropping one game of the season, so there are some teams they might want to avoid, but a little bit different. So it's not necessarily the lowest seed. Maybe the Chargers, say the Patriots and the Chiefs win. Maybe the Chargers want to play the Patriots. They can do so. So I'm excited to see how that goes as well. I kind of want to move into shouting some guys out. I know, as I said, I really wasn't there this past week, so I apologize if I didn't see a legendary performance. But there are some guys I need to shout out here. Cameron Neer from the Chargers, just stellar wide receiver. I've seen him play all the time in past weeks. I definitely got an eye on him and making sure I haven't played him yet. Obviously, I wasn't there. But I know I've had reports when they played the Patriots, he had at least 20 catches, and I think that's true to form with every game. But also Cameron Rowe on the Chiefs. Number 5, dude's quick. So he's a great wide receiver as well. Kind of going to be a scary weapon when they come playoff time. But I just had to give those couple guys a shout out. I'm trying to do as much as I can to get some recognition. I'm glad that I have this platform, but I want to do the best I can, give guys credit where credit is due. And kind of leading into that, this slide here, this graphic here, I think will say it all. So we have decided, and when I say we, I mean nothing to do with me at all, but the captains and the owners here. Okay, I'm just the one reporting said news and taking some credit for it, because why not? Because I'm announcing it. So even though it's already been announced, but you know what? I'll take 2%. That's fine. So there will be a Pro Bowl this year, happening Sunday, November 3rd at 2:30. I believe it's 4 players for each eliminated team. And now looking at it, I have to kind of fix the edit. But 4 players from each eliminated team, so 8 players per. So obviously it's going to happen right before the championship game. So if your team makes it to the championship, sorry, you're not participating in the Pro Bowl. I know these stipulations, however, are you have to have played in your playoff game to be eligible for the Pro Bowl. So keep that in mind for you guys that maybe think like, oh, I don't have a shot to win the championship. It's fun. This is fun. We're having a great time here. Play one more game, mix up the teams a little bit, see what happens. So I think the Pro Bowl is a great idea. Like I said, eight players per team, top 4 players, or 4 players from each eliminated team going there. But also, the kind of Week 8 schedule is a little bit to be determined for championship, or Week 9, sorry. A little bit to be determined. It could either be a doubleheader for Week 8 or Week 9 after the Pro Bowl for the championship. It kind of just depends where teams finish, who's available, who's not. So we're still working out the kinks there. But I kind of will report on that as stuff comes out, as well as I'm sure you guys will hear it from your captains. but kind of moving also on to other league awards. So this is the first time we've done a Pro Bowl, at least to my knowledge. But also MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. I've mentioned it every week on this podcast about kind of who I think, or maybe even just a team that has some dudes on it. So what I'm going to do is attach to this video, or if I forget to attach to this video, I'll have your captain send it out. I'm going to have a link. It's going to be a Google form. You will get, I want to say four. That's the number. 4 choices for Offensive Defensive Player of the Year. You can nominate 4 people for each one, just players that you've seen. I'll also have a roster attached with numbers for the guys. So if you don't know somebody's name, maybe you'll recognize them by their number and team. So you're going to have 4 people you're able to nominate. Please read the instructions on that form. I just want to make sure people are nominated who they're supposed to be. MVP, it's going to kind of go the same way. So there still will be a MVP question on that form. However, the MVP will only be from one of the championship game teams. So if the Chargers and Ravens both make it to the championship, the MVP is only going to come from either of those teams. So I will throw out all other submissions. I'll probably do like a top 4, top 5. And then we'll all vote from there, get an MVP for the league, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and then, like I said, the Pro Bowl teams. Those top 3 awards, MVP, OPOY, and the DPOY, I'll have on the podcast. I would love to have you guys just kind of a quick interview, kind of what you want to do with the league, how you like the league, your perception of it, what could be better, just talking about whatever we want here. I think it'd be great to have you guys on and being able to contribute so much to the league. I think it'd be a great time. But I wanted to make this episode a little bit quicker. As I said, it's just me, myself, and I. All by myself. But no, if you'd love to come on this podcast, really just shoot me something. Shoot me a text. I think it's gonna be a great playoffs. I'm excited for everything. No game is a gimme. I'm sure there's something I'm missing here, but I'm excited. We got playoff football. I don't care if it's flag football or it's Friday Night Lights. We got playoff football and a nice 3-4 weeks left. So I appreciate all the support of this podcast. It's kind of just something I wanted to do in my free time. I appreciate the patience with me even getting out a day late sometimes, just so I could be with family and be, kind of focus on work. But no, I appreciate all the love and support and feedback. So if you have anything you want to see segment-wise on this as well, please feel free to reach out to me. But kind of last thing I'll say going into this playoff bracket, playoff season, that 3-6, obviously the Patriots favored by a couple touchdowns there. Texans-Chiefs games, Texans only favored by a point. So both games are going to be close. I'm excited for it. But other than that, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for the support, and I will see you Sunday. So I know I just finished recording, but I do have breaking news from the Legacy Flag Football headquarters, and I'm going to should have brought my glasses, on what players will be selected to the Pro Bowl. I know it was kind of up in the air earlier when I talked about it, but there is clarification. So for the Pro Bowl that is happening as a Week 9 event on 2:30 on Sunday, November 3rd, the top 4 players from each team that lose in the playoffs will be eligible to compete in the first Legacy Flag Football Pro Bowl. How the players are determined are the players will be selected by the team that eliminates them. Only the players who play in the playoff game are eligible to be selected for the Pro Bowl. The winning team will immediately huddle and vote on the top 4 teams from the team that they just eliminated right after the game. Then they will represent their selection. They will present. Oh, they will present their selection to those 4 players and request to reserve them for the Pro Bowl. If one of the players is unavailable on November 3rd, then they'll select another player until all the 4 spots are filled. The 4 RSVP players from the losing team will be registered to the Pro Bowl roster, and the Pro Bowl team rosters will be picked at a later date. So we know how that will be picked. So show up if you want to be a part of the Pro Bowl, which I strongly encourage. Show up, play the playoff game. Win, you move on. Lose, get picked to the Pro Bowl. Win-win scenario. Although I want that trophy. So I will see you on Sunday.